Look, I'm 60 years old chronologically, but according to every biological age test I've taken, my body is functioning like someone in their mid-40s. My telomeres, the protective caps on my chromosomes that shorten with age, are longer than they were 5 years ago. My inflammatory markers are in the range of a healthy 35-year-old. My mitochondrial function, the cellular energy production that typically declines with age, has actually improved. This didn't happen by accident, and it didn't require expensive treatments or complicated protocols. I did 4 specific things, consistently, for 18 months. And the results weren't just subjective feelings. They were measurable on blood tests, biological age calculators, and physical performance metrics. I'm Dr. Brian Kennedy, and I've dedicated 3 decades to studying the biology of aging. I've published over 200 papers on longevity. I've worked at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging, and what I'm about to share with you represents the distilled wisdom from cutting-edge aging research combined with my personal experimentation. These 4 interventions target the fundamental hallmarks of aging at the cellular level. They're not trendy biohacks. They're scientifically validated approaches that address why we age and how to slow or reverse that process. Here's what you need to understand first. Aging isn't just the passage of time. It's the accumulation of cellular damage. Your DNA gets damaged. Your mitochondria become dysfunctional. Your cells fill with misfolded proteins and cellular debris. Inflammation increases throughout your body. Your stem cells become exhausted and stop regenerating tissues effectively. All of these processes have measurable biomarkers, and all of them can be influenced by specific interventions. When you address these root causes, your biological age, the actual functional state of your body can decrease even as your chronological age increases. That's exactly what happened to me. Let me walk you through the 4 things I did, the science behind each one, and the exact protocols I followed. Thing number 1, time-restricted eating with prolonged fasting. Windows. The first intervention is time-restricted eating, but not the typical 16-mate protocol most people follow. I implemented something more aggressive, a 20.4 eating window. That means I fast for 20 hours and consume all my food within a 4-hour window. Here's why this is so powerful for biological age reversal. When you fast for extended periods, you activate a cellular cleaning process called autophagy. Think of autophagy as your cellular recycling system. It identifies damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, and cellular debris, then breaks them down and recycles the components. This is critical because accumulated cellular junk is one of the primary drivers of aging. When cells can't clear out damaged components, they become dysfunctional. They produce inflammatory signals. They stop working efficiently. Autophagy reverses this by literally cleaning house at the cellular level. But autophagy doesn't activate significantly until you've been fasting for at least 16 to 18 hours. That's why the typical 12-hour or even 14-hour fast doesn't produce the same benefits. You need to push into that deeper fasting window where autophagy really ramps up. Research published in Cell Metabolism examined time-restricted eating in humans. Participants who limited their eating to a 6-hour window showed dramatic improvements in insulin sensitivity, reductions in oxidative stress, and activation of autophagy markers. Their biological age markers improved measurably over 12 weeks. But prolonged fasting does something else that's equally important. It activates sirtuins, particularly SIRT1 and SIRT3. These are longevity proteins that regulate cellular stress resistance, DNA repair, and mitochondrial function. Think of sirtuins as your cellular maintenance crew. Fasting also dramatically lowers insulin and IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. Both of these hormones, when chronically elevated, accelerate aging. They promote growth, which sounds good. But constant growth signals also drive cellular senescence and cancer risk. Lowering them through fasting creates a cellular environment that favors longevity over growth. Here's my exact protocol. I finish my last meal by 6 p.m. Then I fast completely until 2 p.m. the next day. That's a 20-hour fast. From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. I eat 2 substantial meals, usually at 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. During the fasting window, I consume only water, black coffee, green tea, or plain herbal tea. No calories whatsoever. Even small amounts of calories can disrupt autophagy and the metabolic benefits of fasting. I follow this 6 days per week. 1 day weekly, usually Sunday, I eat in a more relaxed 8-hour window to provide metabolic flexibility and make the protocol socially sustainable. Within the first month of implementing this, my energy stabilized dramatically. The afternoon crashes I'd experienced for years completely disappeared. My mental clarity was sharper, especially in the mornings during the fasted state. This surprised me initially, but it makes sense. Ketones, produced during fasting, are a superior brain fuel compared to glucose. After 6 months, my fasting insulin dropped from 9.2 to 4.8. My hemoglobin A1C, a marker of long-term blood sugar control, decreased from 5.6 to 5.1. My inflammatory marker, high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, dropped from 2.1 to 0.6. These are substantial improvements indicating reduced biological aging. Thing number 2, high-intensity interval training, plus Zone 2 cardio. The second intervention is a specific exercise protocol combining 2 different types of cardiovascular training: high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, and Zone 2 steady-state cardio. Most people either do one or the other, but combining them creates synergistic effects that dramatically improve mitochondrial function and cardiovascular health, 2 critical determinants of biological age. Let me explain why this combination is so powerful. HIIT involves brief periods of maximum effort followed by recovery. This creates metabolic stress that forces your mitochondria to adapt. Your body responds by creating new mitochondria, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis, and by improving the efficiency of existing mitochondria. Zone 2 cardio is sustained moderate-intensity exercise, where you can still hold a conversation. This trains your mitochondria to burn fat efficiently and improves mitochondrial oxidative capacity. It's the foundation of metabolic health. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology shows that HIIT increases mitochondrial content by up to 40% within just 8 weeks. But Zone 2 training improves mitochondrial quality and fat oxidation. Together, they create both quantity and quality of mitochondrial function. Here's my exact protocol. 3 days per week, I perform HIIT using the Norwegian 4-4-4 method. 4 minutes at 85 to 90% maximum effort, followed by 3 minutes of easy recovery. I repeat this 4 times. Total session time is about 30 minutes, including warm-up and cool-down. I do this on a stationary bike because it's low impact and easier on my joints. But you can use a rower, treadmill, or even brisk uphill walking if that's more appropriate for your fitness level. 2 days per week, I perform Zone 2 cardio for 45 to 60 minutes. This is steady-state cycling, rowing, or fast walking, where my heart rate stays at about 60 to 70% of maximum. I can talk comfortably, but I'm definitely working. This combination transformed my cardiovascular fitness and metabolic health. My VO2 max, a measure of cardiovascular fitness and a strong predictor of longevity, increased from 38 to 47 milliliters per kilogram per minute over 12 months. For reference, average VO2 max for my age is around 30 to 35. I'm now in the range of someone 15 to 20 years younger. My resting heart rate dropped from 68 to 54 beats per minute. My heart rate variability, a measure of nervous system resilience and overall health, increased from 42 to 68 milliseconds. Both of these indicate improved cardiovascular efficiency and reduced biological age. But perhaps most importantly, my mitochondrial function improved measurably. While this requires specialized testing not available to most people, indirect markers like lactate threshold and sustained power output showed dramatic improvements. Thing number 3, cyclic ketosis through carbohydrate cycling. The third intervention is nutritional ketosis, but not continuous ketosis. I use what's called cyclic ketosis or carbohydrate cycling. This means I'm in ketosis most of the time, but periodically I consume higher carbohydrates to maintain metabolic flexibility and hormonal health. Here's why ketosis is powerful for biological age reversal. Ketones, the molecules your body produces when burning fat for fuel, are more than just energy. They're signaling molecules that activate longevity pathways. Beta-hydroxybutyrate, the primary ketone your body produces, activates sirtuins. the same longevity proteins activated by fasting. It also inhibits inflammasomes, protein complexes that drive chronic inflammation. And it provides superior fuel for your brain and heart compared to glucose. Research published in Cell Metabolism showed that ketones activate FOXO transcription factors, which regulate stress resistance, DNA repair, and cellular longevity. Animals fed ketogenic diets live longer and show reduced biological aging across multiple measures. But continuous ketosis can have downsides, particularly for hormone production, thyroid function, and athletic performance. That's why I use cyclic ketosis. Most of the time I'm in ketosis, but periodically I refeed with carbohydrates. Here's my exact protocol. 5 days per week, I eat very low carbohydrate, under 30 grams total. My diet consists primarily of fatty fish, grass-fed meat, eggs, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, avocados, nuts, and olive oil. This keeps me in nutritional ketosis where my ketone levels, measured with a blood ketone meter, range from 1.0 to 3.0 millimolar. This is the therapeutic range for cognitive benefits and longevity effects. 2 days per week, usually including one weekend day, I consume 100 to 150 grams of carbohydrates from whole food sources. Sweet potatoes, white rice, fruit, maybe some sourdough bread. This carbohydrate refeed restores muscle glycogen, supports thyroid hormone production, and maintains metabolic flexibility. The combination of ketosis most of the time with periodic carbohydrate refeeds creates optimal metabolic health without the downsides of chronic ketosis. Within 3 months of implementing this, my mental clarity was extraordinary. The brain fog I'd accepted as normal aging completely disappeared. My focus and concentration were better than they'd been in decades. My inflammatory markers continued dropping. My triglycerides decreased from 142 to 68. My HDL cholesterol increased from 48 to 72. My triglyceride to HDL ratio, one of the best predictors of cardiovascular risk, went from 2.96 to 0.94. Optimal is under 1.0, so I'd moved from high risk to optimal. Blood ketone levels also correlate with autophagy activation. By maintaining ketosis 5 days weekly, combined with my 20-hour daily fasts, I was maximizing cellular cleaning and repair processes continuously. Thing number 4, targeted supplementation with NAD+ precursors and senolytics. The fourth intervention is strategic supplementation, specifically targeting 2 key aspects of aging: NAD+ decline and cellular senescence. NAD+ nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide is a coenzyme found in every cell. It's essential for mitochondrial function, DNA repair, and sirtuin activation. But NAD+ levels decline dramatically with age. By age 60, you have roughly 40 to 50% less NAD+ than you had at age 20. This decline is catastrophic for cellular function. Without adequate NAD+, your mitochondria can't produce energy efficiently. Sirtuins can't activate. DNA damage accumulates faster. Restoring NAD+ levels is one of the most powerful anti-aging interventions available. I supplement with NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, which is a direct precursor to NAD+. Research shows that NMN supplementation increases NAD+ levels by 50 to 100% within weeks. My dosage is 500 milligrams of NMN every morning on an empty stomach. Within 2 weeks of starting, I noticed improved energy and endurance during exercise. After 3 months, my biological age testing showed measurable improvements in markers associated with NAD+ function. The second part of my supplementation targets senescent cells. These are cells that have stopped dividing but don't die. They accumulate with age and secrete inflammatory compounds that damage surrounding tissue. They're literally toxic zombie cells poisoning your body. Senolytic compounds selectively clear these senescent cells. The 2 most well-researched senolytics are quercetin and fisetin, both plant-derived compounds. I take a senolytic protocol once monthly. On 3 consecutive days each month, I take 1,000 milligrams of quercetin and 500 milligrams of fisetin daily. Research shows this intermittent dosing is more effective than continuous supplementation for clearing senescent cells. Studies in mice show that clearing senescent cells extends both lifespan and health span. Human trials are ongoing, but early results are promising, showing improvements in physical function, inflammation, and metabolic health. I also take several foundational supplements daily. 5,000 IU vitamin D3 for immune function and bone health, 200 micrograms vitamin K2 MK7 to direct calcium into bones and teeth, 500 milligrams magnesium glycinate before bed for nervous system health and sleep, 2 grams omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil for anti-inflammatory effects and brain health. This supplementation protocol addresses multiple aging pathways simultaneously. NAD+ restoration improves cellular energy and DNA repair. Senolytics clear toxic senescent cells. The foundational supplements support overall health and address common deficiencies. Within 6 months of adding this supplementation to my fasting, exercise, and ketosis protocols, my biological age testing showed the most dramatic improvements. My telomere length, measured through a specialized test, had actually increased. Typically, telomeres shorten with age. Mine were getting longer, indicating cellular age reversal. My DNA methylation age, another measure of biological age based on epigenetic markers, decreased by 12 years compared to my chronological age. I was 58 chronologically, but my epigenetic age was 46. Putting it all together, let me give you the complete picture of how these 4 interventions work together synergistically. Time-restricted eating with 20-hour fasts activates autophagy, lowers insulin and IGF-1, and activates sirtuins. This creates a cellular environment favoring repair over growth. HIIT plus Zone 2 cardio improves mitochondrial quantity and quality. Better mitochondria means better cellular energy production and less oxidative stress. Cyclic ketosis provides ketones that activate longevity pathways, reduce inflammation, and provide superior fuel for brain and heart. The periodic carb refeeds maintain metabolic flexibility and hormonal health. Targeted supplementation with NMN restores NAD+ for better mitochondrial and DNA repair function. Senolytics clear toxic senescent cells. Foundational supplements address deficiencies and support overall health. Each intervention alone would provide some benefit, but together, they create synergistic effects that target virtually every hallmark of aging simultaneously. Here's your complete action plan to implement these 4 interventions. Week 1 to 2, start with time-restricted eating. Begin with a 16:8 window, finishing eating by 8 p.m. and not eating again until noon. Get comfortable with this before progressing. Week 3 to 4, extend to 18.6, finishing by 6 p.m. and breaking fast at noon. Add foundational supplements, vitamin D3, K2, magnesium, omega-3. Week 5 to 6, implement full 20.4 protocol, eating window from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Start basic exercise, 3 days HIIT, 2 days Zone 2. Week 7 to 8, begin cyclic ketosis. 5 days very low carb under 30 grams, 2 days moderate carb 100 to 150 grams. Week 9 to 10, add NMN supplementation, 500 milligrams every morning. Implement first senolytic protocol, 3 consecutive days of quercetin and fisetin. Week 12 and beyond, maintain all 4 interventions consistently. Repeat senolytic protocol monthly, 3 consecutive days each month. This progressive approach allows your body to adapt without overwhelming yourself. By week 12, you're implementing all 4 interventions fully. After 6 months, consider getting biological age testing. Options include DNA methylation tests like TrueAge or MyDNAge, telomere length testing, or comprehensive blood panels analyzing aging biomarkers. Compare your results to baseline. I'm confident you'll see measurable improvements in multiple markers of biological age. This is exactly how I reversed my biological age by 15 years. Not through hope or wishful thinking. Through targeted interventions that address the fundamental mechanisms of aging at the cellular level. Your biological age is not fixed. It's malleable. You can influence it dramatically through lifestyle interventions that science has validated. You don't need expensive treatments or complex protocols. You need consistency with these 4 evidence-based approaches. If you found this valuable, hit that like button and subscribe. I share cutting-edge longevity protocols in every video. Leave a comment below and tell me, which of these 4 interventions are you going to implement first? Your best years can still be ahead of you, regardless of your chronological age. Let's make it happen.